Okay. That's her age, 18 and a half. I always like to know. I'm going on 3 votes, right?
No, just Parchi.
Wayne and.
I misread that.
Yeah, actually, I could actually say the radar site in Morristown, the Aegis site, you know, down there where the ship is now, Aegis.
Yeah, Morristown, New Jersey, yeah.
I'm a plank owner of that. I don't have that on there.
Was that not called for Steve to maybe attached to that commander thing? Because it looks like it doesn't do anything, but.
A lot of money in that building.
Yeah, sure.
I sound quiet.
No, they, that's.
I didn't tell you a
The way you're
thing.
doing it,
And then downstairs, they
Roof was collapsing, he said,
Oh, come on, I was waiting to win.
we come up here, they had poles holding the roof up in here.
Well, because they.
Remember the drop
I brought extra money,
They
Wayne.
had a lot of construction.
Which is
Yeah, that's good downstairs.
Post here meeting seems pretty active.
Zachary.
Nope.
Zach. Yeah, okay.
Early winter, guys.
I hate doing that.
Yes.
I missed it by 1 digit.
So did I.
Yeah, that was between,
You and me.
yeah.
So that guy's one that taken in between you and it.
I didn't want to say.
I was only 1 digit off too.
What are the chances?
Who
Who was the first digit?
But that couple, they were nice, they were so happy they won.
So next month, when you buy your ticket,
Oh, you know what, you don't have to come here to see me, because I had my ticket, I had a ticket, one of the guys at the bar said, either a fireman or a submariner, he says, all the money's going back to you, he gave me the ticket, he said, if I win, he said, that's yours.
What do they got? Chip votes. What is it?
Watch your ears. Almighty and everlasting God, protector of all who puts his trust in thee, hear our prayers on behalf of thy servants who sail their vessels beneath the seas. We beseech you to keep in thy sustaining care all who are in submarines. They may be hidden, they may be delivered from the hidden dangers of the deep. Grant them the courage and devotion to fulfill their duties, that they may better serve thee and their native land. Though acquainted with the depths of the ocean, deliver them from the depths of despair and dark hours, absence and friendliness, and a good ship spirit. Bless all their kindred and loved ones from whom they are separated. When they surface their ships, they praise thee, for thou art there as well in the deep. Fill them with thy spirit, that they may be sure in your reckoning, unwavering duty, high in purpose, while upholding the honor of their nation. Amen.
Amen.
USS Barbell, USS Shark, USS Amberjack, USS Grayback, USS Trout. There's a port of no return where ships may ride at anchor for a little space, and then some starless night the cable slips, leaving an eddy at the mooring place. Gulls, here no longer, sailor, rest your oar. No tangled wreckage will be washed ashore.
Okay, this is the creed of the United States submarine veterans. To perpetuate the memory of our shipmates who gave their lives in the pursuit of their duties while serving their country. That their dedication, deeds, and supreme sacrifice be a constant source of motivation toward greater accomplishments. Pledge loyalty and patriotism to the United States Constitution.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now it's time for the introduction of members and guests.
Jim Madden had qualified on the USS George Bancroft, SSPN 643 Blue, in
March of 1989.
I'm Bob Gressa, qualified on USS Comstat SSBN 628 in June of 66, so.
Ed Carlson, I qualified for the USS Agla, AGSS in May of 1967.
Jim Gary qualified on the USS Ira, SS 42, August 1964, to London Ground.
Wayne McAllis, seller of the 50/50 tickets. Qualified James USS Sanger, SS 214, 1967.
Noel, qualified December 1972 of the USS John Marshall, SSBN 611. Blue and gold.
Glenn McCandless, U.S. Army, 1968 to 1970, chemical work. I'm second in command for the.
You're doing a good job.
Steve Smidger, I was on the USS Hammerhead, SSN 663, qualified subs in 1982.
Ed Keegan, guest, Merchant Marine.
Phil McLean, qualified April 81, SSN 658, Spadefish, under the ice in the North Atlantic.
Chris Benson, SS 377, USS Maidenhead, 1970. But we now have 3 fast attack sailors in the room.
And two that were in the same squadron at the same time.
Mr. Chief, you did all three, you did all kinds of boats, right?
Yeah, I did.
You did them all.
Boomers,
Did them
fast
all.
attack.
Yeah, that ship in Morristown, New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm
She just saw that, looking out the car window, she goes, what's that?
Yeah, he's a plank owner.
That boat in William? Just, I don't know, it's me a golf ball when I was here.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why you had Duke was for the ice cream machine, right, Chris?
Oh, I hate that song.
Okay,
I made ice cream all different colors. They had no idea what was gonna flavor.
Secretary's report. Jim?
Regular meeting minutes, New Jersey Bay South USSVI, Friday, January 23rd, 2026, Yardville, New Jersey, 1930 hours, VFW building. Officers present, Ed Carlson, Bob Gross, Jim Madden, James Gary. Call to order, prayer, flag salute, salting the votes, introduction to members present and guests, honor World War II vets. Vinicalist, John Theotonio. Minutes of November reading read by Secretary and approved by members present. Treasurer's report given by James Gary, 2 CDs, $17,109.94 and $4,122.44. Checking account of $3,350.75. Scholarship CD, $4,939.35, and a scholarship fund, additional fund of $3,107.02. They're both CDs?
Pardon me, 3 CD.
3 CDs. Anyway, a total treasury of $32,629.70. Report accepted as read by members present. Committee reports, membership, C. Vincent, approximately 109. Ways and Means, Dave Lucas, no report. C. Ed Carlson for latest hats and sweatshirts. Scholarship, there were no applicants. License plate, no bites. Old business, use your membership card to promote our organization. We need a volunteer for newsletter. Ken Spar Senior Submarine Service Award was forwarded with a nice letter. We have 3 Holland Club inductees this year, Bennett, Juke, and Storch. New business, we had none. Sea stories, none. For the good of the order, the 50/50, Wayne Michelle's, net at $95.
Fine job.
Meeting closed with prayer by Vice Commander and Chaplain. Cobb, Wayne Michelle, Sound and Surface. James Madden, Secretary, New Jersey Bay South, USSVI.
Entertain a motion to accept the report.
Second motion to accept the report.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Accepted. Treasurer's report.
We have total cash of $33,554. We have 6 cash accounts. We have a checking account of $3,136. The scholarship savings account has $5,940. We have 3 CDs. Our regular CD, which I just renewed, at an interest rate of 3.5%, and it's due July 24th, and there's $17,224. We have an additional CD from the checking account, which is due April the 4th. The interest rate is 4%, that's $4,135. And then we have a scholarship CD, which is due March 1st. The interest rate is 4.21%, and it's $3,119. Our total revenue year-to-date is $1,917. Our total expenses are $655, which gives us a net income of $1,262.
So we're basically a profit center.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read.
Second. Accepted.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chaplain's report.
I talked to, I was going to try to get hold of John Theo, it's a tough man to get a hold of. I did talk to Dave Lucas today. Dave's one of our members. He lost a leg, and I called him. He's doing fine. He's going to try and make a meeting. And but I said, how'd you make out with snow? He said, no problem. I didn't have to go anywhere. He said, Beth and I went out. His wife was not real healthy right now. She's had a lot of health problems. So Beth and I went out and shoveled some snow. He said, I told her to have one. She fell down 3 times. So we went back in the house. But with one leg, he's still going to go. He always had a guy who used to come down and take care of it. Neighbor come over and help him out. But
In the event he shows up, is the chairlift,
it's not working right now. I don't know what's right. I got to talk to the commander.
my son lost his leg, and he could make up the flight of steps.
Well, they can make it up.
Good, okay.
There's nothing holding that boy back. Believe me. When I call him boy, I don't mean boy. I mean he said.
Well, he was real active 10 years ago.
Well, he's been active. He's always been active until he lost it. He went in and had an operation. Everything went well. Next day, foot turned black. It was it. Done. Because I saw him just before we went in for the operation. And over nursing, not a nursing home, but a rehab type place. And he's feeling pretty good. The floors are slippery, but everything was good. Went in, said, how'd it go? He said, it went fine. Next day, gone. And he said, took it off.
So John D'Antonio posted on Facebook, which he hasn't done, and I don't know if anybody's friends with him on Facebook, but I am. And I probably haven't seen a post from him in 5 years.
No.
So he had a post of his property yellow with snow and all that stuff. I was surprised to see him, active out there.
He's got a home from back in the 1700s.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest homes in Groveville, I
Yes.
think.
He sold the bars, didn't he?
He's
sold those years ago.
But, John, I try and get a hold of him. If I call the house, John doesn't, I'll leave a message, and then I'll get a text back saying, everything's good. But John's a man of few words.
Yes.
But, he's good basic man.
But he will respond to email.
Yes, he will.
I've emailed him regarding the news. But we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with that this year.
I asked him if I could stop over and see him. He says, you can stop anytime. But I don't want to inconvenience anyone either. His back is never going to be better. Never going to be better.
Sorry. Committee reports. Membership, Eagle program, Chris?
109,
110.
110.
It's not up there.
So he's not in the bank, he's not in the database yet.
Come on.
Dude,
Keep up.
110,
Keep up,
Yeah.
Master Chief.
109, 110.
And nothing but the Eagle program.
No.
And Ways and Means, again, if anybody's interested in base hats or anything, just see me after the meeting. Scholarship. Guy, I emailed him yesterday, and he responded. His term as Exalted Roller ends on April 1st. He cannot wait to come back.
That's the Hamilton Oaks.
He cannot wait to come back to our meetings, which is good because we're coming on the deadline for the scholarship fund, this year's scholarship awards. Chris chairs it. I don't think we have any applications yet.
None.
Well, you know what, it just will continue building up.
We have till, what, the 15th?
May, right?
Yeah, it's been extended because we're like national. And anybody that goes for ours is entitled to go for national and vice versa.
Yeah, last year, out of the 80 national awards issued, 3 of them went to grandchildren of base members.
Here.
That is amazing. And it's good, but we encourage it. Chris, I spoke with Chris earlier today. I was on the website, and Chris hasn't done it, announcing that applications for the scholarship fund are being accepted. It was a great job.
I've always used that banner. I usually put meetings on there, but I put scholarships up there. I just forgot to put about the meeting today, but I sent out
You
emails.
sent that out earlier.
Yeah.
But Chris is the master of communication. He gets the.
No, I'm not. I'm an agent.
It's very nicely done. I'm amazed
He's
at
like,
the number of liaisons that pick this stuff up and then pass it on to the folks.
he may be a retired chief, but he is our chief information officer.
Very nice.
Sure. Thank you for what you do,
Welcome.
Chris. License plate, nothing new, but we will have an addition to report next month.
I just got the one.
That's a good thing.
Oh,
Right in. Mine came in like
So you couldn't get your own, you couldn't get
you
your own?
want his old ones?
Nah, they were already paid up.
Right
I
now,
got the new ones and I bought a new car and 1733.
I can't tell you.
I'm happy. Good place.
I just asked for questions.
How would one find the email address in another case? Trying to get a hold of my old roommate, who was the supply officer on the 687. And he put a letter in last month's magazine about a humorous event they had with a guy that was a tailor that took the entire boat down there and made suits for them. And the rumor was the guy was dead, and I haven't talked to him in 50 years. But he pops up in the magazine and learned how to get a hold of him through the Berlin tapes.
No, if you go to the, if you look up members at the database.
You have to log in, are you a member, you log in, right, for national site? You log in there, you can search the member database.
Search by name.
There's search by name.
Or vote, year, I think there's several
It's
criteria.
really memorable because he and his parents had been killed in an automobile accident. And we made a trip on a ferry boat in the middle of the winter from New London to Orient Point. And both of us have been on the boats forever. We got sick as a dog. Say again?
Is that where you live, over in Point, or
Went from New London to Orient Point.
what was his name?
Butcher was his last name.
I had a shipmate that was a Peterman, and he lived out in Orient Point. But he refused to take the ferry across from London, and he did not drive. So when the few times his wife wanted to see him, she would drive into New York, go out to Long Island, and pick him up, and then return him.
His parents, he had a farm.
She really wanted to see him.
Not often.
It was so rough, because there was a U-Haul truck on there, the U-Haul truck was walking back and forth. And the operator of the ferry, it was just 4 of us on this thing, it was empty, because it was Thanksgiving weekend. He thought it was funny, he got 2 naval officers, both supply officers, laughing his ass off at the fact that we could be that seasick, and that's for the.
But that ferry is from Orient Point, right to the
Yeah, it's
island.
an Orient Point, yeah.
But he would not take it.
There are about 5 ferry boats, I came through the London the other day, there are about 5 ferry boats now that would go out of the pier, now that they got the Fulton out of there.
I don't understand why a subsailor would be reluctant to take the ferry because he certainly didn't get seasick.
Yeah, like, what's the
Well,
worst thing
I'll
that
tell you,
happened? He ended up under
This
water.
thing was a flat bottom. I think it was left over from World War II. It was the most unseaworthy craft we've ever seen, but we were very glad to get back on dry land.
I also had a shipmate that lived on Fisher's Island. And he was actually banned from half of the island. How that worked out, because he would always race his car on the island, and the cops would get him, and now he's only banned for certain roads. But that was a different story. On the old business, it's really new business. Applications for the 2026 National Awards, they're due April 30th. If anybody's interested or wants to nominate somebody for the awards, there is a pamphlet on the desk that describes the awards and the procedure for submitting it. There are pending years in terms of format, so I went ahead and made the format a Word document. That's at the desk too. So you can just take that Word document, scan it back into Word, and then put it, fill out the form with the justification. And the guy that put out the notice, he didn't bother to put his email address, so I had to look it up on the database to submit it. So,
Can we put Wayne in for doing 50/50s?
Yeah, you should give him like a name or something.
Hey, Glenn.
What's the appropriate time to put a discussion on it? I'd like to poll everybody. I went to my first national convention last year and enjoyed it. I waited until age 77 to retire, so I really couldn't do that before. And I was amazed at the attendance they got, but it was very different than the Snug Harbor Regional Convention I went to when we had one of our boat reunions there. And the energy that we had at one of our boat reunions, where we wind up with 100 or 150 sailors, either in Arkansas or some other godforsaken place. Hope nobody's from Arkansas, but the one at the Razorback was really good. But my view is that the National Convention has about 2 days of activities spread over 8 days. And I'm contemplating going to the one in Corpus, because we may get some of our boat sailors together. But there's just a whole lot of dead time. I mean, do I really want to be in Corpus Christi for 8 freaking days?
A lot of people want to go.
Depends on what time of year
they are.
Yeah.
And so they travel, they have all things, they have this, they have that. That's why a lot of people go there. There is a lot of dead time. But,
And the other thing is, this was in a huge hotel in Orlando.
and they got less people now because there's so many boat reunions all around the country at different times of the year. People can only do so much.
Verbal life to go every day.
No, you don't, no, you do what you want, once you get there, as long as you're signed up.
I could write a book. Well, I've been to Corpus before, actually. That's when the Navy decided they didn't want to make me a pilot. And Corpus is, it's gorgeous.
back in November, when I went to the Veterans of World War II Memorial, there had to be 6 different boats that were having reunions. Now, the anglers stopped having reunions the year before, but they opened it up again. So we had a mini reunion. We had 24 people at the mini reunion. But there was, because it was in Cape Bay, Georgia, and there was so many boats meeting. The meeting was great because you interfaced with so many different sailors from so many different boats.
Right.
And the one thing we all had in common was our dolphins.
We did that, we did one with, so we have a reunion every 3 years. We did one with Snug Harbor. And I think there were 6 or 7 boats that had mini reunions. And it was held at the Canaveral Cruise Port. So a lot of people were going on a cruise before or after motorhomes, lots of room for the motorhomes. And it wasn't the problem last year was it was in this enormous hotel in Orlando in the off season. And there were a lot of people that didn't need wheelchairs, that after a week at that hotel, with being so spread out,
They spread out.
they basically rented go-karts for everybody.
Honestly, the World War II Memorial, that was coordinated by the retired chief who runs.
So there's a lot of energy in these regional things and the multiple boats, but then the energy somehow seems to die at the national convention.
This guy runs the, he runs the St. Mary's Submarine Museum, which is
Yes.
fantastic.
Which is closed right now.
And it's still open, but they're reopening.
When are they reopening?
Not next year, but the year after, because I'm planning to go back to the beginning to see that new, the new facility. It's gonna be twice as your,
Really?
but,
Because they've asked, I've got 100 submarine books that they've asked me if I would donate when I pass. Because they've done that to a number of people who are book collectors. And I guess they've got a library here too.
yeah, we donated our battle, when we had our annual reunion, we donated our battle flag to the museum. And it's great because they have them all flying in the museum, but the current one's too small to put them all up. But they will all be flying in the new one.
Maybe, maybe the reason it was dead in Orlando is I don't think they had any boat reunions there. There was none visible anyway.
Kings Bay is, it's great because you can get on the base.
Right.
You may or may not be able to tour one of the boats. This year, the Navy wasn't allowing anybody to.
Kings Bay is very close to Jacksonville Airport.
Yep.
I mean, it's like 40 miles, even though it's a state line.
But the last summer was there, we tour one of the boomer boats, and my wife loved it.
But nobody else has any passenger. Anybody else looking at going to the national one or not?
You know, I was actually on our website looking at our bylaws, and I saw that as base commander, the base will actually pay my way to the convention.
Here we go.
With what the money. But it's not very, I'm not bringing another woman to me.
Those tickets out, boy.
You bring another woman, she's gonna smack my baby.
Find a $150 flight.
But I was thinking about it only for one reason, because I really want to give them hell on what they're doing with what they have done, and what they continue not to do is put out a good database. And I spent 2 days emailing with Sharon Walls, trying to get them to put my original join date into the database. And finally, she managed to do it. And
Sharon Walls happens to be the Secretary of National.
They had a couple of like 4-hour meetings over that with about 50 people, and I don't think they came to an agreement. But there were a whole bunch of techies in that group.
she was trying to explain to me that it's not the database, it's the joins of the database. Now, a couple of years ago, I'm a techie. I'm an ex-programmer, as old COBOL programmers, you don't hear about
COBOL?
COBOL
I
programmers.
heard Cobalt, yeah. Nobody remembers
But
Cobalt.
I developed a financial database a number of years ago, so I'm a techie. I know about SQL and joining field, and that she was trying to tell me it was in the joins. Well, really, what it is in the damn code. You didn't write your code to join the right field.
We could have used it in that meeting because people were all.
So my biggest fear, so I wanted to say, I'll help IT on the new one, just let them ask me. Because I have the experience and skills to help them out. But my fear is they didn't, when they converted to the new system a couple of years ago and then dropped it, they dropped data. So if you're an old guy like me, they don't have and you come in and out, they don't have the original join date. And to me, it was important that my original join date be reflected.
I don't know what the source of funds, they spent a lot of money on
They
trying.
wasted a lot of money.
They wasted a lot of money, and at the end of the meeting, we were 8 hours backwards from where we started.
They've had 3 vendors that have said that they can take care of it. It's been going on for about 5 to 7 years. And the gentleman that had the whole database going had it passed protected, and he died. And they have not been able to get it. That's what the whole problem is. And so they said, no, we can take care of that, we can take care of it, but they can't take care of it.
That used to be a yearly expense for the base years ago, when I was treasurer, we had to write a check for somebody. It did something with the computer.
He said, one more on that broken database than we did on the Optar for the NR1.
Hey, Bill, are you in a committee or something for national, for that database?
What's that?
Are you on some committee with
No,
national?
I got dragged into it, but it was literally a dead day. And everybody was at breakfast, they said, what's happening today?
Oh, at the convention. you
350 people, yeah, the national convention, which is, I know, in September.
I thought maybe they just randomly called you up and.
Somebody had resumes, and they said, wait a minute, you work for Kodak in the IT area, you were a web guy, come sit in on a meeting, because there was literally nothing else going on that day.
I've been in the industry and I watched what happened and it changed for the worse. It used to be when you automated something, you spent time doing this functional design, then you did technical design, then you turned it over to the programmers, they built it, then you turned it back to the users and they tested it, and then you would send it back to IT to fix it. And when you convert it, you made sure that the data was all converted. But they stopped doing that. Everything is done with automation tools. They're programming it on the fly, which is why everything, if on the internet, you go to anything, it fails. Because they just move changes in.
Well, I don't want to sound like the old guy in the room, but I was a COBOL programmer once too. And if we erase the last 40 years of shiny things, the problem was there were so many younger people in the room that had their new shiny thing. This is, I have the answer, this is the way you do it, and you need to do it, an elegant solution. And we got nothing. We should have washed out the last 40 years, go back to a COBOL database, the original data was okay.
I was pulled out of the town in 2000 because of my COBOL skills.
Yeah.
Because I needed to change all of the code because of the change in the format. And it makes a big deal of it because there's nothing programmed. But because everything went to different tools, the COBOL and Pascal, it's all out, the only skill set the COBOL program was India. That's how India got ahead of this country in technology.
Yeah, and
Because
Obamacare.
they had the COBOL skills.
That site was ready to call too.
To answer this question, gentleman's question, the reason other people got dragged in is there was literally nothing else going on. And they said, because we don't have a program, any of you people who come from an IT or managerial background, we need, in addition to the worker meetings, we need a gallery to bounce this off of, which was a mistake because it just had, everybody had their own solution. And it was a 5-year solution, little pieces. I understand they claim they've got it fixed now.
Yeah, Bill, I was asking, I didn't know if they had a team together actively looking at this, or it was an ad hoc kind of thing, everybody, so. It sounds like it's now.
But so many committees, they spend a lot of money. And while the system became worse, get fired the vendor, and then spend some more money, to get another solution. And I understand, like everything else, political, now it's, oh, fixed.
Well, that's what because, but right here, when I have multiple conversations going, I go burn.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, we can finish this conversation. It's an interesting,
But I was just curious in Poland because the national meeting needs more energy somehow, or a shorter meeting, if they're gonna increase I got the feeling most people there were there because they were on some sort of committee, or they've been sent there, or they were base commander.
Well, if you got a West Coast host, you'll have more people from the West Coast. If you get to the east, a lot of people from the west, they won't come over.
I don't know.
When you get Corpus Christi, you're gonna get half the country that are gonna go.
Okay, Ed. Let's move on.
Okay, thank you.
Let's move on.
This
Yeah,
lunch,
that's why
I want to hear about this lunch.
I just said,
uh,
Northeast.
Northeast Regional District 2 meeting. This is the first one I've ever heard of my having one.
Okay, there you go.
Guys, almost happened in here since '92, we've never had one,
Yeah, so
that I know of.
I don't know why all of a sudden we're having one, but
This says northwestern, eastern, you said northeastern, this says
That's right.
western,
You mean east.
which is
Northeast.
northeast, no.
I just said,
It's District 2.
Anyway, Unfortunately, Mike did not have an agenda, so I couldn't share the agenda. And I couldn't go because I'm gonna be in sunny Aruba on that same day. But I would have gone because I have a timeshare down in Atlantic City. My wife and I would have used and stayed at the timeshare. I could have went over to the meeting and then go back and have dinner and see a show in Atlantic City. So I would have went. I don't know if anybody is planning to go. I don't know what the agenda is, but if you are planning to go, please,
Let Mike Buster,
well, let
you know.
let me know, send me an email that
That's
you're
right.
planning to
It's
go.
a base command.
But he's looking for a account, and I'll give him a count before I go. But, yeah, without the agenda, I don't know, what's.
Region 2 is how many bases? 6, 7?
Seven or 9, is it?
Atlantic City?
Four in Jersey, Philadelphia, and I think
Yeah.
Southern Connecticut.
Yeah, Long Island,
Yeah.
but I think it's good, I think it's a good idea that they do something on the district-wide, because when we had the memorial dinner down in Thomas River, I suggested that, continuing to have it as a joint activity in Tom's River did not
Summers
work.
Point.
Summers Point. Did not work for us because our base meets here. Now, I'm 50-50 between the two bases and below the two bases, but to me, it was a matter of fairness, find a place that's convenient to both of us. And so this year, they're gonna move it to Lakehurst, to Italy's
Yeah, at
Best,
least that's
which is a better deal because the place that they were holding at was expensive. But I also suggested that rather than doing it as a trade base, open it up to all of the bases in New Jersey, and you make it better attendance. So I don't know what, I think maybe that's an answer to that, but, it's a good idea to get the bases together. Anyway, moving on, before Ray tells me to move on. Jim, you want to bring this?
Yeah, Ed brought up having a luncheon during the year, and I suggested that maybe we could have it in Allentown. There's a restaurant in Allentown, La Piazza. They have a room, but you need 30 people, and it would be like a buffet. And the food is okay when they have the buffet, but we need 30 people. 50, we want husbands and wives, and just have a social togetherness and have a nice lunch. And they do have some better parking there. The restaurant opened up the parking lot next door, so I think it's a little better for parking. But the problem is we have to get some kind of a head count or commitment that people want to go, and that's the problem.
Well, I mean, just look at this room, if we all went with our,
Well, should I be 22?
we're almost there. And, but I suggest, we used to do the barbecue here, but we got too old to get anybody to do the cooking and the cleanup, so that is out, but we do need a base activity. And I think this would be perfect, taking the place of the barbecue, because we don't have to do the cooking. I also think, because we're sitting on a lot of money in our treasury, that the base ought to fund it either partially or fully. And maybe that will get more people to come out to it. We can certainly afford it. And usually if it's free, it's for me. People will come out. And the other thing I would do is make sure that the bar isn't open for us, so we don't go broke.
Right. You can cover the cost of dinner, the luncheon, and then if you want to drink, you could have a cash bar.
Right.
But
But
What's the timeframe?
Because when you have, before you have a cash bar, people are not gonna, they're gonna drink beer or wine, they're not gonna drink Top Shot.
Yeah, nobody would.
When, as soon as it's free for everything, you know, people drink things that they don't usually drink.
What's the timeframe, Ed? Timeframe?
I'm thinking of, in May, and the reason why is really selfish. I'm in the river in April, and I'm in England in June. May is in between. It's also, the only thing I'm doing in May is going to doctor visits. It's the only thing I'm doing in May. And, but also, we have 3 Holland Club members. And the Holland Club inductees are members effective on April 1st. So I think we could use that as an opportunity to present the Holland Club, and maybe, like the last time we presented, we got 2 of the Holland Club inductees to attend our meetings.
How many
One with
people-
their wife.
How many Holland Club people we have coming out of this space?
Hey,
3.
do have this Mother's Day.
Which is 3 new Holland Club.
When'd you qualify, Steve?
Sick of mine.
Oh.
It's 82.
It's not you, it's not me either.
No, I do, I do.
Okay, I can.
Hey,
Is it a weekday or a weekend?
Hey, Jim Madden, when did you qualify? What year?
1989.
Not you either.
I think the barbecues used to be on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it was Saturday,
And
yeah.
Saturday.
And I know like Guy works on Saturday, but maybe you could take a day off. But I think Saturday afternoon would be the perfect time for the luncheon. I think May, the snow will be behind us, the roads will be good. The question is, we don't have a cost, but are we open for base funding this initiative?
Let me find out what it would cost.
Oh, no, right.
Yeah.
But I'm just.
It's gonna be at least a couple thousand, maybe $3,000.
Right.
I'd be committed to go, depending on when it was, that's why I'm asking. Like, end of May is not good for me, but you should.
We have Memorial
You should
Day.
schedule around me, actually.
You have Memorial Day at the end of May, that's the 25th. Then you have Mother's Day on the 10th. Those are the 2 big holidays.
You probably need to book the restaurant now, that, they're very.
You'll get a better price, you'll get a better price than that during the week.
One of the 2 restaurants in Jersey, she said it's first rate, and everybody else knows it's first rate.
Cost of planes and things, and they can go up and down. He's got the calendar all worked out over there.
Yes, for this. And then
Get the room. Because if you had everybody come here, we wouldn't make 30 people.
But if we
If
have,
everybody's working white, you just wouldn't make it.
but if we have 3 Holland Club inductees, if they come to accept the reward, that's,
Yeah,
could be 6
Yeah, that's
more.
normal.
You just make it.
Good point.
But, you know, somebody else might come also.
Yeah, you just gotta put it out on the,
Yeah.
we can send an email out.
Exactly.
So you're also looking to replace what we used to do in July,
Yeah, for the picnic.
which would have, if we had a picnic, it would have been July 25th.
July works too.
Well, I'm saying is this would replace it. We're gonna have a meeting the 24th. If they just instead of
25th.
It's indoors, so it doesn't matter.
Right, the heat and all that, right?
July would be good, and it, you know, we didn't do the Holland Club until December, until what, November or December.
Right.
So having it in July.
July would
It's
work.
still good.
And it's indoors, because nobody, yeah, the heat's not gonna kill anybody.
Does that work for you, July?
There's more time to plan.
Yeah.
Right now, you've been scheduling a meeting here. for 20, but we normally never, we used to never have a meeting.
Can you get some information this weekend?
So let's move it to Saturday.
So it sounds like
That's also, we're planning to go to Hawaii.
we're in favor of pursuing this.
I think so.
And it sounds like July may be better than May.
It's good idea.
And Jim and I'll work on finding prices at a location and venue.
Yes.
Time frame and volunteer.
Timeframe, and then we'll bring it up at a
Right in.
You know, even with the admission, it might actually turn into a fundraiser if people, we could have a raffle and have this in the future.
You know, who can raise money?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
A raffle.
Well, we could also, yeah, we could.
Raffle you off. That's a handyman.
I mean, isn't that really how the picnic made money? It wasn't the admission tickets, it was the,
Oh, is it 50/50? Yeah, the 50/50 for the food.
you said all that?
Yeah.
And I think because it's, we could maybe, we could comment, not comment, we could
Dave Lucas.
get, Dave Lucas.
Dave,
Yes, he was part of the space for so long, I think you get him out of the meeting. That would be fantastic.
and it's not far from him. Yeah, he's right off the Route 130 right there, so, you know, the Allentown's easy.
Another good place, I don't know how many you need, is the Stone Terrace. They have,
It's good.
it's good. It's really good. They have that special room with the fireplace. It's very good.
Where's that?
Fireplace in July.
Yes, right on Cusher Road.
Oh, yes,
It's
yes.
on there, right across
That's
from
what
the
it's
market.
real nice there. I've been there fucking thinking about it. It's Italian.
Well, take an informal poll, who would be interested in his proposal?
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody here.
I'm not for the fireplace in July, but.
No, I agree. I would say it's a nice room, but.
When do you want?
The place down there, off Piazza.
Yes, you love it. Some good food.
Find out the utilization of that place and I'll find out the utilization.
When Cal moved,
I've been there for
had
many
a
a month there, a celebration of life for people that have passed off. They have a special room for that is, yeah,
So you guys could be committee that you would make a recommendation at the next meeting.
yeah.
We'll figure it
Great, thank you.
The whole thing being it's camaraderie going.
It's the camaraderie.
In July.
out. Might I get a social event going? No question.
Right, it is, but
What was the thing for, I was thinking for
Beach
the.
Town?
155.
155.
That's 155?
Wow. Look at you, you're killing it with the 50/50, man. I feel the need to recognize you and Glenn and your efforts. I don't think there's anyone
You got 8:30.
to take care of
You know,
it.
you have some good sea stories.
As a meeting or do we close the meeting?
No,
Wait a minute.
We're not.
we did tickets.
There's sea stories.
Sea stories.
Are we attacking our, that's why
Not on the line.
we have a lot of lessons over there. 2 aircraft carriers, they never mentioned submarines,
3, I think there's 3.
but they, you heard that?
I heard that Georgia was out there.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
I heard, they were talking about these F-22s, and they were worried about these things because they got to fly them every day. They're out there now. They're high maintenance, and to keep these things,
Well, fly them
stuff,
every
they got
day,
to fly them every day.
Did?
Yeah. And they're a primary plane to go in there and knock out the preliminary radars and whatever. I think they're after. Wow. The F-22. So.
They always talk about, how the diesel boat had the aircraft carrier and during a war game, and it's the firing solution and everything else. I mean, that's what Iran runs, right? Diesel boats and a lucky shot.
I'm worried about these underwater drones.
That's it.
Well, yeah, that's what I worry
That's what I was
about.
saying. And the military, you want to be.
Look at the good guy,
They're changing
Yeah.
their investments.
That guy Khomeini said we could, he said we could take the carrier. That's what he said. They had a AI simulated sinking of one of our carriers with 5,000 men on it. Could you imagine?
I don't know if you recall this, but on the annual, we went up to Canada, and then we came back. And what we were doing, we would hunt the subs because they were running an old-fashioned convoy from Canada down to Florida, and we would hunt them. And we never got detected. This old diesel boat never got detected. We got detected going up to Canada, and they caught us around somewhere by Boston, they were shipping this around in Louis. But during the exercise, we were submerged and they never found us.
Somebody just signed in, Bill.
We picked the ball, we watched the ball out.
You two,
You hear those, the helicopters drop, so you can hear them.
This is say that.
And I would also remember us being piloted by a French diesel boat, and they were so quiet. I couldn't hear 'em.
Right up until you're running the diesel engines on the surface.
Video.
They're extremely quiet, right up until then.
Batteries don't make much noise.
It's just about 4 or 6 fish boats.
Those Fairbanks cars, 20-cylinder engines.
There's a reverb now.
You know, I always thought, remember that movie on Periscope? I always thought that was quite believable how he said run one screw and put up, remember they put the light up like a fishing boat? I mean, they really could mimic something, a diesel boat at night. You know, just another noisy fishing boat or something, you know. And I remember we were in the fog outside of Charleston, and 3 guys in a wooden fishing boat came right by us. Nobody, I was a lookout on the Fairweather planes, and I saw them, but radar didn't see it, you know, sonar didn't pick them up or anything, and they're right there, you know. I was a big boat, just a little fishing boat.
You were on a motor?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you probably had no water underneath that keel either. You went out with that river.
What's he doing on the
Right,
surface?
mud.
We were in the fog, we just go in.
About it, right?
It's the only time.
You don't pick up old, you know, little fishing boats, something like that.
No more, they won't get within 1,000 yards.
Oh, those guys look more surprising.
Yeah.
Staring at this big submarine going on.
Ask anybody who served on the coal.
Yeah.
Right.
But how many,
That was just a little boat and went up there and got
how many nukes have run into other underground,
We had to take over control because somebody ran under. So, I think it's still
We had a 130,000. But we weren't aground.
We got to, but the thing is, the ocean's constantly changing. So, nobody had any sea stories? None of what I tell here.
I was at the event in Charleston, I've got a boat. Most of our boat was from Long Island. And they stuck us up the Menlo River. It's actually in a housing development, it's north of the base. And we were one of the first boats, I think the Simon Lake was up there. We were one of the first boats to patrol out of Charleston. They were sort of getting ready for, I think, the Kings Bay move. But there was a lot of ruckus among the townspeople. They didn't want to have.
Out of Goose Creek, right
Yeah,
up.
but it was actually the Menlo River's housing development, there was one pier. But you had to walk through about, on this really dark road, about a mile of swamp to get to where the bus picked you up inside this housing development. And our boat was all kids from Long Island. Our chief of the boat, who was World War II type, was fearless as anybody. But these guys would go to Liberty, and there'd be crocodiles and snakes on that road. And people come back from Liberty running like crazy, white as a sheet. Whole players through, you know, years of service, but the little swamp critters in South Charleston sure scared the heck out of them. And the next day we had a note in the paper, and some of the local people had said that they were really glad that the nukes were up there in the Menlo River's housing development, 10 miles upriver, because if one of these guys dropped one, they didn't want the city of Charleston with all of its antiquity to be affected. And I think our captain made the mistake of telling the guy in the press, if we drop one and something goes off, New York will be affected. You're not doing anything, all you're doing is making our life miserable.
Okay, 10 miles is not.
No, in Goose Creek, remember the alligators could climb up, they could come right up the side of the hole, and the guys would kick them off.
What was that?
yeah, my
And they also resemble a man, you know, at night. You see how them?
How you could have a whole submarine, I don't know what the details did, but we were all Northeast people. And nobody knew what to do with a crocodile, alligator, snake. And the guys would go out on Liberty and come back. They're white as a sheet.
Yeah, it's
when I was there,
just don't go there.
how many of my shipmates go from the Northeast? Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey.
Now you used to tell,
I remember
If you're-
Louisiana.
if your social security number began at 0, it meant you were from New England, and the numbers came what used to be. Because I was a youngin', we still got people's numbers. And people from New York would be 15 something, 16 something for the social security.
Yeah.
New England would be 0 something.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And, you know, and you kind of geographically knew where people were from by the social security.
But we had a constant problem. I had, my employment was food service, and I get these little notes. We had 3 fellows that were Jewish, and they did provide for kosher meals. And I get this little note under, dear Mr. Elliott, with all due respect, please tell them we're all from Long Island, that spaghetti is not noodles with ketchup.
It's you.
And then the other one I got is, can we try the kosher meals? And then we did for the 3 fellows that were Jewish, got the kosher meals. And then I got a little another note, dear Mr. Elliott, with all due respect, please take these kosher meals and put them someplace else.
I remember our chief cook said, he goes, it would be hard to find a meal without pork in it.
That's right, everything's got pork in it, so we might.
And I remember, like, if you had the pork fried rice for dinner, if you really looked at it, it had the eggs for breakfast, and it had the breakfast sausage in it.
Everything that they had pork in it. Although they.
But when I was in, I said, when it came down, it doesn't fix the social security number. You had a military ID. And to this day, you never forget it.
I had four ID numbers.
I was at the VA the other day. They asked me for my ID, and I started giving my military ID, not my social security. You know, it just comes naturally.
Right.
You never forget it.
You never forget it.
You never forget it.
You notice it how many times?
I use it as a password a lot of times.
With the name, right, serial number, date of birth, that was all you had to give.
Well, I've got the sea bags with different numbers on them now too. The sea bag won't wear out.
The trouble with the social security number, I remember, that's how we used to get mail. He said, write your name and your social security number on it. And now it's, you know, it's a big secret number, but all your daily mail came with that social security number. And I got, you know, years later, they mail your honorable discharge or something. I would hang it up, it has my social security number on it.
What? Well,
Has my name and my social.
when I moved from Indiana to New Jersey, the driver's license number was your social security number. And you get out your social security number, you got history for everything.
You got chief.
Well, I just,
All right, so for the planning for the membership, is, you're gonna explore dates and interest.
And location.
And location.
well, if there's no more sea stories, I can't believe you don't have more sea stories. How about Army stories?
You don't think about.
Just read the letter.
You know, my father-in-law was a merchant marine, and my neighbor was a merchant marine. And my father-in-law was actually my best friend. He was also my fishing partner. I had 2 young boys, and I was living on Staten Island. So we would go out with a cooler full of beer. Right? The boys had their little fishing poles. And I swear it was, it's thrown that pole in the water. Next thing you know, they're picking up a fish, both of them. And then my father-in-law would get so upset because he prided himself as being a fisherman, and he wouldn't get a bite. But then there was a reason for that, because as the day grew longer, we drank more beer. We never bothered rebaiting the whole time. We just kept rebaiting ourselves. But it was great. The boys went with their mother and their grandmother to the beach, and we just stayed there and drinking beer.
My dad's convinced a wooden boat is better for fishing. Scare the fish away, you know, when you moved around or whatever.
I don't know. I took a charter boat one time from Blues out of Sheepshead Bay. And, you know, the Blues are pretty stupid because, you know, if you hit them when they're running, or you just drop the hook and then you pull them up. So if I pulled up about 8 of them and within a half hour, I said, that's it. I'm just going to drink beer the rest of the cruise because I don't eat bluefish and I can only give so much away.
Anybody eats. You know, that would be another fun, but you need so many people to get a fishing boat charter. you need like 50 people or something, you know what I mean? It's like more than we could ever.
No, they're smaller charters. 10, 12 inch charters.
Yeah.
But I think we should think of base activities. I think that's good.
We were on a cruise, kids said, I got my fishing pole, says, can I fish? He said, of course, you catch a fish, well, the chefs are cooking for you, no problem. It's about 70 feet down, before you ever.
12 decks down, right?
We caught fish right before Canal, right off the pier. Plenty of fish there.
Another guy, they went out fishing, right? About 6, 8 guys, and the guy looks, and he says, there's this overhead, he said, how am I gonna cast? You don't have to cast, you just drop your line, but you're in deep water. And, crazy.
Up in New London, if you had to do the weekends, we fish off the end of the pier.
Yeah.
We always caught something. So,
Yeah.
and then if we were pulling out, we always caught lobster nets. The locals weren't too happy about that. But we served on boats, and we did not serve on ships, and that makes us unique. And my wife and I are cruisers, and we like Norwegian Cruise Line. And they have these outings, the captains get together, so you get a free drink. So, and, some hors d'oeuvres. So, you shake hands with the captain. And I made the mistake of referring to his vessel as a boat.
This is a target.
This Norwegian guy goes, "This is not a boat, it's a ship." I've never made that mistake again.
I remember taking a cruise, now they don't, you gotta pay extra to 11. They used to remember you take a tour of the bridge and take a tour of the engine room, now it's extra.
Really?
But it was open. I mean, I took a cruise like in the 90s. But you just sign your name, and how the helmsman doesn't have to hold the wheel.
You didn't have 6,000 people on that cruise either. That's the difference, I think. Some of the big cruise ships are ridiculous.
Oh, well, yeah, we've taken three in it was 4,000. And we once we went over, you should break it, there was 1/3 of the guests with the shoulders.
I was ranked,
Well, we can.
I was ranked.
Sounds like a pizza delivery thing going on up there.
Did anybody see the before they put in the Reno, they interviewed some of the crew, and they mentioned that they had a halfway night where they served beer. Now, I mean,
Why don't we close the meeting?
9 players
Is
patrol.
that pizza guy trying to get you?
I never saw an ounce of beer on our ship.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn the meeting, guys.
Oh, man, get this thing in the air.
Uncover, please. Grant us, O Lord, as American and suffering veterans, we continue to help our fellow veterans and those in need. We thank you for the people assembled here, and pray you bless the many works. Be blessed forever. Amen. Our next meeting is going to be March 27th. Same day.